Good morning, and wow, am I sweaty. Thank you for taking the time to press play on today's video. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am completely obsessed with Michael Jordan's The Last Dance docuseries. So obsessed that I bought a basketball and I've been playing every morning, and I've learned a lot from that docuseries, and I'll get more into that later. But right now I've got to practice for my WNBA tryouts for my Sparks moment. Just kidding. But yeah, I just wanted to document some of this because it's been really enjoyable and just for fun, and I'm terrible and I can't stop smiling. Okay, now that I'm done practicing for my WNBA tryouts, I figured it's probably time to get into the topic of today's video. I'm also enjoying filming outside today, even though it is kind of hot. But I figured we would just finish the video off outside as well. Oh, is that a bee? I learned so much from The Last Dance, but I think my biggest takeaway is the root of my creative struggle, or the thing that holds me back the most in my creative process, is just overthinking and overcomplicating things. Michael Jordan says in this docuseries, why would I think about missing a shot that I haven't even taken yet? And I think that right there is why most of us stop before we even get started. So many beautiful ideas are going to go to the grave with their creators, with their potential creators, because instead of just going for it, we spend so much time coming up with reasons for why it won't work out. How many projects or just simple ideas have you talked yourself out of before even getting started? Sometimes I have ideas and I literally think, wow, I wonder how much time I have with this idea before I talk myself out of doing it. It's a real problem that I have, and I'm really trying to overcome it. But I think the first step is to call myself out on my BS, and I wanted to just talk about it on here because I'm sure there are some of you who deal with this as well. I think there's a big difference between striving to do the best that you can do and then self-sabotaging your creativity. I think the only responsibility that we have when an idea comes to us is to do the best that we can with what we have. Overthinking and overcomplicating the creative process is a form of resistance, and it doesn't help us improve. It kind of just holds us back. I used to think that in order to make a really impactful YouTube video that it needed to be super cinematic and I needed to have a really expensive camera and sound equipment. Now, from a camera person, of course I want to evolve as a filmmaker and improve the quality of my videos, but when I was operating from that headspace, I wasn't operating at all because I wasn't creating anything. When inspiration strikes you, don't overthink it. Your art does not have to be complicated to be good. Do not stop yourself before you even get started by making it just so difficult for yourself. There are 3 things I do to try to avoid overthinking ideas when they come to me. So the first thing I do, and I recommend you do if you struggle with this as well, is when creativity strikes, act on it. I find the more time I take between ideation and execution, the more likely I am to talk myself out of something because I have more time to overthink it. Don't give yourself that time to overthink it. When that idea comes to you, start writing, start your script, start painting, start recording. The pieces will fall into place. You just have to start. The second thing, and probably the most obvious, is when you start this creative process, I think it's really important to eliminate your distractions. If you're anything like me, it takes me a really long time to get into my flow. I could have all day to write a script and it's 9 p.m. and I'm just now feeling like the words are flowing. I think in order to decrease that amount of time and give yourself less time to overthink things and talk yourself out of doing something, you need to just get rid of distractions, delete Twitter for the day if you have to, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, whatever you need to do to give yourself that uninterrupted creative time, do it. Now, the last thing I do to avoid this self-doubt spiral is I try not to watch similar things to the thing that I'm trying to make when I'm in my creative process. If you know me, you know that I watch hours of YouTube daily. Like, I love watching my peers, I love rooting for my peers, but I find that when I'm creating video for myself and I'm in my own creative process, I'm in a hypersensitive and hypercritical state. I could be so excited about a video that I'm making, and then I watch another video and all of a sudden I like want to throw my camera away and I never want to make another video again. It's very similar to a feeling that I would have when I was younger, where I would make a school project and I would be so excited about it and so proud of it, and then I would bring it to school and I would see all the other kids' projects, and now all of a sudden the project that I made is no longer good enough. And I definitely think that's something that I have to work on. I need to be more confident about my skills and my abilities and what I bring to the space. But for right now, I think in my creative process, it's best for me not to have any wandering eyes, because I am hypercritical of myself and I am less confident than I would like to be. Let me know in the comments if you also struggle with overthinking things in your creative process, and also what you do to work through it. Mosquitoes are eating me alive, so I think it's time for me to go back inside. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for being patient with me. And as always, thank you for being here.